I hate the standard advice. I just hate the book answer to how you deal with depression. It's so demoralizing for a person that's dealing with depression. I've been there over the years, and I've been in the pit, I've been in the cave, and I've stayed in there for months at a time. And I have gone to therapists, and once I was so bad that I took myself across the country and I saw a psychiatrist, and I asked him, what the heck is going on with me? Do I have a mental illness? Do I need to be on medication? Because I was stuck. There are a lot of different answers to this question. This is personal to all of us. One of the key things was to realize that I can't change everything. I can't even change myself when it comes right down to it. I can't actually influence the chemicals in my brain in this moment, but I can make a difference if I sleep okay. If my sleep is going all right, that's going to make a difference. So I worked on that. If my diet is okay and I'm not like flaring up with allergies or sensitivities, or I'm eating crap, junk food, and I'm drinking too much sugar, if these things are in control, I'm eating lots of vegetables, kind of a Mediterranean diet, getting some fish in each week, reducing the red meat, lots of veggies, lots of fruit. The other thing that I've found that helps a lot is intermittent fasting. Fasting gives your system the time to repair, to regenerate, to heal and let old cells die off, and to remove them from your system and to regenerate that energy into something helpful. I find that these context fixes help in the first month, a few weeks. Looking at the fixes that you can put in place that you don't have to think about and just become part of your routine. I think that's one of the keys for me in the periods when I've been depressed. And look, everybody says exercise, and for somebody that's depressed, exercise is the worst possibility in the universe because you're just not motivated. Even getting up and going for a bit of a walk is a struggle. It helps if you got a friend or your partner or somebody that can go with you for a short walk and just make it realistic, like you don't have to do a freaking marathon. Just go for a little walk for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and try to do it once a day, and it gets you out of the house and just doing something different. Or go to the mall if you can stand it, or to some place where you can walk a little bit where it's not too overwhelming. I know there's some malls in town that are a bit quieter. I think for somebody that's got depression, going to a place that feels, relatively safe. Usually public places are not very good feeling-wise for a person with depression, but if you get out, maybe go to a theater and watch a movie if that's safe for you at the moment. Post-COVID, think about what you can do, even just getting in the car and going to a place, sitting there for a while, having a different environment, a different scene, might just reset your brain a little bit and give you a little bit of motivation. And I just want to highlight, there's a window behind me. There's a saying that if God closes a door, God will open a window. And there's always a way through these situations. Sometimes it's right behind us. It's just one step behind and we don't realize it. It's like the window behind me. One other insight I just want to add is that when I'm working with people who are in depression, what I try to do is teach them to just alter that state. in a small way, to just shift it just a little bit, to turn the color of the depression maybe from a dark black into a muted gray. And going from black to gray, what does that mean? On a scale of 1 to 10, where's the intensity of that depression? Using one of your sensory systems to shift the depression in some subtle way internally, shifting your impressions of that depression gives you a sense of stepping back from it on one level, giving you a little bit more objectivity. That's one of the layers of this. But the other layer is that you can learn how to just shift it slightly. And if you can do that, say move your depression from a 10 on the scale down to a 9.5. That 0.5 is significant. That 0.5 is a skill that you've just learned of shifting your depression. And it might take you a while, but you can learn. Literally, you can get yourself from a 10 down to, say, a 6, where your depression is more manageable. And I think, hey, that is really valuable, important knowledge. And it's experiential training that you can get with a therapist that is experientially focused, outcome focused. You need a therapist who has the skills, who's lived the life, who's walked the walk. You need somebody who can coach you through how to shift your depression in a way that works for you. Some of us will shift it visually like a color. Some of us will hear our depression and it's really intense. And we need to listen to it and understand, how can we shift that? How can we shift the sound of depression? Others of us feel the depression kinesthetically in our bodies. Where does it sit? What does it feel like? You know, some of us feel so sick when we're depressed. We can't eat. We don't eat for days, you know, or some of us overeat when we're depressed because we crave food for some reason. That state of depression is combined with kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory sensations. You know, when we can understand what sensory systems we're working out of in our depressed state, we have more knowledge. We can shift something. Like I said, if your depression is chronically at around an 8 and it's really hard to deal with, just shifting that 8 to a 7 on the scale is a significant step. Once you know that, once you have that skill, you can shift yourself out of the depression by shifting yourself through the depression. It's about accepting and learning how to work with the mind for a change, and the heart for a change, and the soul and the spirit for a change. Because all of those levels, the 5 parts of us, the mind, the heart, the soul, the spirit, the body, all 5 aspects of our being are holistically intertwined. Our spirit might be seeking something, you know, and we can't get it, or we can't feel it, or we can't connect to it, or it's elusive, and it's depressing. It can lead us to states of being stuck. When we can identify that and connect to that spiritual purpose, that spiritual reason, or that spiritual vision that is part of our being, it can open up and release energy. It can move things forward in a way that many things can't. Likewise, if our body is struggling by being overtaxed with stress and anxiety, and we're not eating well, we're not eating a healthy, like a Mediterranean diet, we will struggle. We have to unlock the physical issues and get ourselves through that and make changes. And this opens up a lot of energy. Depression is a form of energy. Depression is energetically the chemicals in our brains and how our minds are functioning, but it's also integral to our bodies, to our emotions, to our heart, to our sense of soulfulness, our relationships, our sense of connection, our communication, and our spiritual identities. Depression touches all of these aspects of our being, and if we can understand how this works, how it fits together, it's an individualized approach. And that's why all of the pat answers out there, all of the book answers, all of the standard treatment approaches to depression don't work, because they don't speak to me. They've got to speak to you. They've got to be personalized, and you need somebody to help you with that. A friend, a partner, a mentor, an uncle or an auntie, somebody who cares with you and for you, who can help you. And it doesn't have to be a professional. Good Lord. Professionals are stuck in a lot of the theory and book knowledge and their own egos and their own hang-ups and biases and prejudices. I know. I've studied how professionals operate over many years, and my research showed that professionals are often dominated by bias and prejudice. And this includes therapists. Therapists can be stuck in these limiting beliefs, attitudes, and values that are influenced by their book knowledge, by their training. They get tripped up by their egos and by trying to play the role of the helper, trying to be the professional. People need a real person they can talk to who will genuinely care about what's happening and will want the best for you. And I think find somebody like that, sort through the rest of the mob. Your time is precious, you got to be real.